So there's a few ways you can make running harder. One of them is to stick it after a swim and a bike leg, otherwise known as a triathlon. And that's what I decided to have a go at this past weekend. So if you haven't clicked off the video already, you probably know what a triathlon is. You start with swimming. I haven't been swimming since I was about 14, so I had to go and get some goggles.
I can't feel my eyes.
A triathlon just means the three disciplines: swim, bike, run, and that's when you get all the different distances. So I decided to go for a quarter of an Ironman. So it's a 1k swim, 45k bike and a 10k run. It's not really one of the popular ones. The reason I chose this one, to be fair, is probably because it's the only one I could manage. That takes it out even like on a different level. So luckily for me and for you, you can't record in most swimming pools for obvious reasons. My form is absolutely awful. I'm shit at swimming anyway, I know that. I went for the first time properly last week. As you saw, I bought some goggles beforehand thinking, yeah, I'll get some decent front crawl or freestyling or whatever. Literally 2 lengths in, flung the goggles off, breaststroke head above water. I thought it's the wrong time to practice form. I just need to get it done, get out the water, and then spend ages transitioning into the bike. But one thing I did have is my shoulder started to ache from like obviously doing breaststroke the whole time, and that come to sting me later on. Now this is where I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. Been 9.5 minutes now to go and get the bike. So now I'm going to unpack this, put the front wheel back on and then start from over there. I would say a nice smooth transition, but it took 16 minutes. So it took about 7 minutes to get all the shit out of the car, put the wheel back on. So after that mammoth transition, we get into the bike leg. And this is my second strongest discipline. Not because I'm strong in it, just because I'm shit at swimming. If the order of triathlon was switched around, I'd never even attempt one. So before this, I was thinking about planning a route, and I ended up not planning one. I've got no clue where I'm going. Let's go on a little adventure, and hopefully get back alive. Now that can go one of two ways normally. You can either have a wicked day out, or dead end, terrible road, gully. Yeah, I've had many of them days, even when I've planned routes. See what I mean? When you just pick a random route, you can end up in places like this without even knowing it's there. But it can also go the other way, and it's a bit more annoying when you select road cycling on a fitness app and it takes you to somewhere you can't even ride a mountain bike. But no matter what route I go on, I always have to go up a massive hill at the end. There is no perks of living at the top of a massive hill. This is the major problem. I've got 2.5k left, but I live basically at the top of a massive hill, and I'm at the bottom of it at the minute. So this is the first little portion. Then I got a bit of flat, a bit more of a hill, bit of flat, and then the hill home. So I've watched a few triathlon videos before, obviously like proper triathlons, and they say if you feel like you can give it a bit more on the bike, don't bother, like keep a bit back for the run. I've seen a few videos before and it says if you feel like you've got a bit more on the bike, you're doing it about right. It says you don't want to push it flat out and then end up for the run. I'm not going to go flat out. I'm just going to keep just enough so I can get a 10k, a good scene too. I'm going to try and keep them equal. Obviously on the downhill I was going to give it a bit, but then on the flats, just go nice and steady, nothing too stupid. So that's exactly what I did. And again, this discipline's kind of new to me, so I don't have any ideas of what a good pace is. I felt like I was going at a decent speed and I weren't too knackered at the end, so win-win. All in all, I felt quite good getting off the bike. I'm sorry, but I have in this. This girl has come flying past me. She's absolutely smoking me. I even need to get fitter, buy a new bike. So from the bike to the run, it was a much quicker transition than the first one. Probably because I didn't have to reassemble half my bike. I think the second one took me about 7 minutes and the first one took me about 17. There we go, that one weren't too bad. 7 minutes, now back out the door. Can't wait to get back in here. So on to the discipline I'm most used to, the run, which is why I think I underestimated the 10k distance. As soon as I come out the door, I thought, do you know what, 10k is further than I think. Just kind of realised how far 10k actually is. My legs don't feel the freshest obviously, but they don't feel too bad. I should hopefully get it done in 50 minutes, but we'll just see how it goes. And for that fact, the whole triathlon time, I think I underestimated that as well. I thought, yeah, it'll be a nice breeze, 2 hours or something. Before I started this morning, I sat on the bed and I was working out how long each thing's gonna take me. And then I come to the realisation and I thought, fuck, it's going to take me about 3.5 hours. Pushing all that to one side, I managed to keep a decent pace for the first half of the 10k. It was slightly downhill, but even still, I managed a good pace. My shoulders started to ache from not obviously doing breaststroke the whole time, and that come to sting me later on. So even just after 2k, I could feel my shoulders aching, man. Definitely from the swim, because I felt it when I was in the water. And also watching these clips back, I understand why people always put a hat on after they've had a helmet on. So me thinking that most of the route will be flat, kind of went out the window. I lied about it being all flat. There was a little punchy hill just before 8k, and then when I got to 8k I thought, you know what, this is taking its toll on me now. But good news and bad news. That's where I built my bike earlier. I put the wheel back on, so I'm nearly back to my car, but I'm only at 8.04k, so I'll probably just run up and down by the side of my car and just pray for this to hurry up and be over. After I got to 9k I felt loads better, but I was still grateful to finish it. So in total it took me a whopping 3 hours and 35 minutes, which is just slightly quicker than I thought it would take me. The swim, I was slightly quicker than I thought I'd be, because the week before I'd done 925 metres in about 40 minutes, which I know is horrific, but I've proved I can beat just in 1 week. I think it took me 28 minutes. I think I need to focus on some decent front crawl form, but that's for another time. The bike went perfectly. I think that's the best ride I've ever been on. And then the run was difficult, but I've been there before. Not sounding like a pro, but it's the discipline I've done the most, so I can't just, you know, get on with it. But yeah, like I said in this clip, hats off to anybody that does that 4 times over. Honestly, I take my hat off to anybody that does a whole Ironman, because I've only done a quarter today, and that is bad enough. Honestly, if you've ever done an Ironman, or you know, anyone who's done a marathon, it's just such an achievement. I understand that you have to work your way up, but I think you've got to be slightly sick in the head to do one. And people that do double, yeah, God knows they're mental, but yeah. Fair fox to anyone that's ever done one. I did enjoy it in a sick kind of way. I think it's because it's something new and there's like 3 different disciplines, and like you have a switch up instead of just one. But yeah, I think that's what made it the most enjoyable.